Most men never realize this, and that's exactly why they lose her without ever knowing why. There's a silent moment, no argument, no warning, where a woman looks at a man and something inside her just switches off. And the scary part? He thinks everything is still fine. But what I'm about to tell you today might completely change how you see attraction. And maybe even why some women were drawn to you and others slowly disappeared. Because attraction isn't what most men think it is. It's not just looks. It's not money. It's not even confidence alone. It's something deeper, quieter, and far more powerful. And once you understand this, you'll start noticing things you've never seen before. Let's begin. Most men don't realize this, but the first thing women find attractive isn't what you say, it's how you make them feel without saying anything. You could walk into a room, say nothing, and still create attraction or destroy it. But here's what actually happens. A woman scans your energy within seconds. The way you walk, the way you look around, the way you exist in that space. Imagine two men entering a room. One keeps adjusting his shirt, checking who's watching him, seeking approval without realizing it. The other, calm, unbothered. He doesn't need the room, and somehow the room starts noticing him. And this is where everything changes, because attraction begins with presence. Not loud presence, not attention-seeking, but grounded, self-contained presence. And what happens next is something most men miss. Most men think confidence means talking more, but women are drawn to men who don't need to prove anything. There's a difference. One man tells you how successful he is. Another doesn't mention it, but you feel it. And strangely, the second man is the one she keeps thinking about. Why? Because real confidence feels safe. It doesn't pressure, it doesn't chase validation. It simply exists. Think about this. When a man is comfortable in silence, a woman starts wondering what's going on in his mind. And curiosity is the beginning of attraction. But here's the twist most men ignore. Most men try to impress. But women are attracted to men who create emotional impact. You see, attraction isn't built through logic, it's built through emotion. A man who lists his achievements might sound impressive, but a man who makes her laugh unexpectedly, who surprises her with how he sees the world, who makes her feel something different, that man stays in her mind. Picture this. She meets 10 men in a week. 9 of them follow the same pattern, predictable questions, safe answers. And then there's one, he says something slightly different. He reacts differently. He sees her in a way others don't. And suddenly, she remembers him, because emotion creates memory, and memory creates attraction. But what I'm about to tell you next is where most men completely lose it. Most men don't realize this, but neediness is the fastest way to destroy attraction. And the dangerous part? It doesn't always look obvious. It shows up in small ways, replying instantly every time, over-explaining, trying too hard to keep the conversation alive. But here's what actually happens. The moment a woman feels like you need her attention to feel okay, something shifts. Because attraction requires space. It needs mystery. It needs uncertainty. When everything is predictable, the emotional tension disappears. And without tension, there's no pull. This is where everything changes. Because the man who isn't afraid to lose her is the one she's afraid to lose. Let that sink in. But there's something even deeper than this. Most men think women are attracted to perfection. But here's the truth. Women are drawn to authenticity. The man who admits he doesn't know everything. The man who isn't trying to act perfect. The man who is real, even if it's slightly flawed. Because perfection feels distant. But authenticity feels human. Imagine talking to someone who always says the right thing. At first, it's impressive, but slowly it starts feeling fake. Now imagine someone who is honest, a little unpredictable, a little raw. That's the person you start feeling connected to. And connection is what turns attraction into something deeper. But what happens next is something most men never notice. Most men underestimate the power of emotional control. A woman watches how you react, not just what you say. Anyone can stay calm when things are easy. But how do you respond when something doesn't go your way? Do you get frustrated, defensive, insecure, or do you stay composed, grounded, in control? Because emotional stability is rare, and rarity creates value. Think about this. If a man can handle pressure without losing himself, it signals strength on a deeper level. Not physical strength, but psychological strength, and that's incredibly attractive. But there's a hidden layer here that most men miss. Most men believe attraction grows by giving more attention, but sometimes it grows when you give less. Not in a manipulative way, but in a balanced way. When your life doesn't revolve around her, she starts wondering where she fits in it, and curiosity pulls her in, because attraction isn't built when everything is available. It's built when there's something to discover, something to earn, something to understand. And this is where everything changes again. Because the man who has his own world becomes a world she wants to be part of. But let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how sometimes the less a man tries, the more attractive he becomes? Think about that for a second. And tell me in the comments, have you ever seen someone become more attractive just because they stopped trying so hard? Because what I'm about to reveal next is one of the most misunderstood truths. Most men think attraction is about what they add, but often it's about what they remove. Removing desperation, removing the need to impress, removing the fear of losing. Because when those things disappear, what's left is pure presence. And presence is powerful. Imagine a man who doesn't need to fill every silence, who doesn't rush to respond, who doesn't chase. That stillness creates tension, and tension creates attraction. But now, we're getting into something deeper. Something most men never fully understand. Most men focus on being liked, but women are attracted to men who are respected. There's a difference. A man who tries to please everyone loses his edge. But a man who stands by his values, even if it means disagreement, that man feels solid, predictable in character, but unpredictable in behavior. And that combination, it's addictive. Because she knows who you are, but she doesn't always know what you'll do next. And that keeps her emotionally engaged. But now we've reached the final 2 points. And these are the ones that change everything. Most men don't realize this, but the strongest attraction comes from emotional safety. Not excitement alone, not mystery alone, but safety. The feeling that she can be herself without being judged. That she doesn't have to perform. That she can relax. Because here's what actually happens. A woman may feel attracted to many men, but she stays with the one who makes her feel safe. Safe emotionally. Safe mentally. Safe being vulnerable. And that kind of safety is rare. But the final point, this is the one most men never understand until it's too late. The most attractive thing a man can have is a life he genuinely loves. Not a life he built to impress others. Not a life centered around chasing attention, but a life that fulfills him. Because when a man is truly fulfilled, he doesn't cling, he doesn't chase. He doesn't lose himself trying to keep someone. And ironically, that's when people want to stay. Because attraction isn't about holding on, it's about being someone worth holding on to. And once you understand this, you stop chasing attraction and you start becoming it. So the next time you wonder why a woman is drawn to someone, look deeper. It's not always what you see, it's what she feels. And most men never learn this until it's already gone. If this changed the way you see attraction, then you're already ahead of most men. And trust me, what you do with this knowledge next might change everything.